All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 22. We are back at it again. I am your host, Supreme King, and I am here joined by my co host, as always, and his name is.
It's your guy Omazis.
Yes, Omazes is here. I did not tell Omazes that I was going to be on camera in this footage, but you
Yeah.
are watching Eldest Souls, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this once I get to a boss fight in this footage. But going forward, not going forward, don't let me not put that out there because I don't know if it's going to be every time. But I'm attempting to put more footage together where I will be on camera. This was a very early on beta test. It's about a month old now. I am playing the game Elder Souls. At the time of that recording, I think that game was $7.99 on Steam. It normally retails for $20. I'm not sure if there's still a sale out there. I'm pretty sure there will be another sale as we get closer to Black Friday. But yes, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share this out to a friend. Our first topic is actually just going to be about horror games. I just want to talk about it briefly because we didn't really get a chance to talk about a lot of the horror games that's coming out outside of like Callisto. I think we've said enough about Callisto. We probably mentioned a couple things, but yeah, it's horror game season, and I guess first, actually, let me ask, how are you doing, co-host? How are you? You all right? You cool? Collective?
Doing great, man.
You
It's
doing
like you
great?
said, horror game season, spooky season.
Yeah. It's not everything's coming out immediately, but I do know Callisto and Dead Space is supposed to be back to back. Like
Ooh.
those two are back to back. They're almost like in competition with each other a little bit. It's not really presented that way, but it might seem that way. Callisto, at least in my opinion, it does still look to be a little bit more gory, but I do think Dead Space is not going to be that far behind. And outside of that, we had the mention of like Silent Hill. We've learned is finally making a comeback. There was so much going on with Silent Hill though. Like I know before the channel was even a channel, there was so many people going back and forth with this idea of that game. I think was called Abandon, was supposed to be Silent Hill to a lot of people, and it was like a whole debacle because of it being like a scam and all this
Oh,
stuff, and everybody was going back and forth like it's a conspiracy because of all this like random stuff that was going on. I'm like, how is it a conspiracy? At some point they got to put out a trailer and they got to put out a release date. Like it's not a conspiracy. Like
no,
I
it's a
don't
conspiracy.
know.
I can't explain it, but it is one.
But
Yeah, people just going crazy.
they finally mentioned that they was gonna do Silent Hill 2 as a remake, and
Uh,
then they announced some more Silent Hill franchises and stuff. So yeah, Silent Hill is back, and also I'm gonna try to put all of this together because we didn't mention Resident Evil 4 as a remake is also back, and there's so
yep.
much going on because I know that first one was like a big deal. Like there are people who said that's like the greatest Resident Evil game, period. It revolutionized things when it was first released on like the GameCube, and now it's back. It's still like Capcom is still coming out with so many games, as far as like Resident Evil and stuff. Because I think in the middle of doing this, they're supposed to be working on 9. At one point, there was like a announcement for a Nintendo exclusive or timed exclusive Resident Evil game. At one point, I don't know what the news is still on that, but yeah, man, horror movies or horror games, horror movies too, but horror games was like back. It kind of just
Yeah.
came back overnight. It was just like here's like a bunch of them. It's like here's a couple of them that's gonna come out right now, and then we got a couple big name ones that's gonna be coming out later. Um, yeah, but so Dead Space and Callisto are coming out in, well, Dead Space is in January, Callisto's in December, right?
Uh
Excuse
huh.
me. Yeah, so those are coming out like that's not really too long from now. Like that's like very right around the corner,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
They still look exciting. Let's not forget, even though like it's not as like scary, like you had Cult of the Lamb, which is technically like in that genre of horror. Um,
Code of the Lamb is like the game
right?
that like you can't play if you in a Christian home. Like absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would
But
not have gotten away with that. There's no way back in the
oh,
day. No way.
not at all. However,
What? I
like
would have
these
been on the
investments,
altar.
they're they're popular because like I think even when watching other people play too, from like streamers and everything, it's just that excitement of like right the jump scares and things like that. It's why like jump scares is one of the oldest techniques that's still used, and it's just it works. So it's good that they're back. Like, let them come back. Keep it going.
Yeah, I just messed up. My bad. Y'all see that? I actually messed it up.
Yeah.
All right, it's fixed. That didn't happen.
All right.
Let me see if I can lower it. What I
Wait.
did was I maximized the screen, and I did it with the pad, like the moving pad on my laptop, and then it accidentally did that. It got fixed that fast. It's fixed.
Technology.
We good. We good. I didn't screw it up. But yes, I maximized the screen because I'm trying to see what I'm trying to see myself. I'm trying to see this game while we doing this. I'm trying to look and make sure because you can't really see the background in this because I'm on the small screen. But if you can see it a little bit, I apologize because it is actually a mess behind me on this footage. And understand the mess got bigger. It got bigger because I bought a few things. But yeah, back to the topic. So the horror games, man, I'm very happy about it because I thought that gaming was starting to become a little too kiddie in a way. Like I
Okay.
was more like something like Callisto is something you don't see happen too much outside of something like Last of Us. Like you don't see that much no more. And then it's like all of a sudden it's back. Like before, because normally when they have a game where it's like shoot a bunch of zombies, it's very bummy, like bubblegumish. Like hate to throw them under the bush, but Zombie Army 4 is like there was no blood in Zombie Army. There was no. You just kind of just did it, and they just made it more cartoony in a way, you know. World War Z was another one, really cartoony. Like they're still fun, but it's like they don't have the like blood and gore. Like it doesn't feel like a zombie. It just feels like a putty, like a Power Ranger putty in a way. It's like that's kind of how they felt. And um the censorship is real when it comes to like M-rated games like this too. So to see that like the industry is like kind of coming back to it a little bit, it's like okay, is better to me.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited about it. Resident Evil, the series, if I could talk about it for a second, because I will admit here, and I don't know if you like mind me admitting it,
No, go
but
ahead.
I felt like 5 and 6 was fun. And I
Ah,
played this with a certain someone, ladies and gentlemen. I played those games with my co-host, and I think my
yeah.
co-host liked those games as well.
Yeah.
And
Great.
5 and 6 was
Great.
considered like the worst by the people, I guess. I'm sorry, I think I cut you off. What'd you say?
Well, as long if you're playing the game with somebody else, like they're fun. Like they are fun to get through.
Yeah, I can see if it would be a little frustrating and stuff if you was playing with the computer. But the way that I looked at it was that after playing those two, if those two were considered the worst, and I had fun with it. And I actually want to repeat those two games with you. I remember saying that. That at
Yep.
some point I want to still encore. It's like if I still liked it and they thought it was the worst, everything else has to be uphill. And I'll admit for myself, for what I've been playing so far, it actually has. And I had to go all the way back to the older top down ones a little bit, like Resident Evil 1 and 0. The original ones, the older ones, like I had a
Yeah.
blast with those two as well. I had a blast with those two. And then, afterwards, now we have all of these like regular 3D ones that are like more modern day looking. I'm very excited about Resident Evil 8 having the third person mode cuz when I play it, that's what I want to play it as in third person. I didn't play it yet, but I want to play it through third person. Like I'm not really big on first person. I know 7 was first person. And you had a chance to try it in VR, right?
Yeah, a little bit in VR, and then just try it out. Also, in general, it's scary. Like it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bugs. Oof. Not like breaking bugs. I mean like literal, like insects, like running around.
Oh, I was about to say like the VR
Not
version
bugs,
was buggy, but no, yeah. So
insects. Oof.
I'm more like if I had to choose between Silent Hill and Resident Evil, I'm probably gonna pick Resident Evil as of right now. I'm a little biased, but to see that Silent Hill is getting more praise, and then if you've been following along, you'll know I just bought a PS3 backwards compatible PS3 not too long ago, and so I wanted to go back and play the original Silent Hill games as well because I actually did not play the series like how I played the other series. I played more I've been like more Resident Evil than I have been Silent Hill. And so I wanted to go back and play all of them. I didn't want to just play the remakes. And
Makes
I'm
sense.
excited about it cuz I was somebody who was very big on horror movies but not big on horror games. And now like I want to
Yeah,
be into the ones that are like real horror games and not just Five Nights at Freddy. He just like this Chuck E. Cheese monster that just like come and just jump scare you real quick and then you restart. It's like
there's somebody who that game really scared that you just offended.
oh my bad, my
But
bad.
nah. So I'm the same way. I'm way more into the horror movies than I am for the games. Um, but I don't know if that'll change. Like there's certain horror games I can play, certain ones that I'm not into, but I love to watch. It's just I'm not into playing it. I'm one of those.
Right,
Uh,
but you know what? Like there are some of them they meet you right in the middle. Because would you consider the Alien game a horror game? Didn't you play that? What was it called? Alien? Which one?
Alien Fire Team. I
Yeah,
played
that
Fire Team.
one. Is that considered horror?
That
I
was
don't know.
really, it is, but I think it was more action than it was horror. Like it wasn't like isolation. Um,
Yeah.
which I would play that too. So that's more to me in the middle. Outside I would play like I don't like I don't watch someone play Outlast before I would
hmm
play.
I was
Um,
like that with Outlast. I watched. I didn't want to play that one, but
yeah.
I think
But
for
play
me, I don't want to be handicapped as a player. Like with Resident Evil, I don't feel that way. You're getting weapons at some point. You get the rocket launcher and everything, right? So you're not really handicapped. With Outlast, you're handicapped. You are running and you have a camera, and you gotta
that's right.
like, yeah. So that
Even
kind
in
of
like
horror,
Resident Evil 7, right? Like
yeah.
you get a gun, I was like, I need something where I can fight back. Like I'll play Dead by Daylight with my brother and everything, but like on my own, it's not particular unless I'm the killer in Dead by Daylight. Like as just a survivor, it's just like I feel powerless. Like all I can do is run, and it's just like I don't want to do that. Like I want to just run. Like I'll take jump scares if I can still fight back. Like
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah. So I like the ones where you can at least shoot it back, whatever it
Yeah,
is. You know, you could probably hide from it or something, but because that's how I look at Callisto and how I look at Dead Space and Resident Evil. Silent Hill, like you can fight back, but you don't really get guns for what I've seen. For what I was seeing, you don't really get like you don't get a whole
yeah,
bunch of like armory and weaponry and stuff. Now, Silent Hill the movies, I did see those like way back when they came out and stuff. I thought those was cool too. I thought those were like where Resident Evil in the movie area, like they kind of like went way action. Where Silent Hill was scary. Well, not scary, scary, but like it went for horror. You know what I mean? So I was still very aware of it, and I was, um, really liking the series, at least in the movie area. Resident
yeah.
Evil is like I don't know what happened at one point. It was just like, what happened? What are you guys doing? you know.
It,
But I'm a fan of horror, so I would love to see Silent Hill get another movie. If the franchise gets rejuvenized a little bit, but
I I do feel like for Resident Evil, I think the problem is if you go based off of the like source material and really try and follow the source material, I don't think it translates well to like a TV series or a movie. I think that's the problem. Because like think about it, it's like as scary as you gotta get, there's still gotta be like a noodle arm, like a monster. Where like
yeah,
in the game where it's this indestructible thing that can just get you from a distance so you gotta run, yeah, it's intense. Right? Or like the pig thing from Resident Evil what was it, 6? Where
hmm
you shoot it down and it breaks into a bunch of pieces, but then eventually they all form back up
yeah. It
together.
was never
And
actually gone.
that's scary while you're playing, but like if you're watching it and like dude got a spaghetti arm or like it's still just a pig like walking around to get you, it doesn't
Yeah,
translate. So I think that's the issue.
for a lot of people, just first person in general is scary to do. Like Dead by Daylight and
Yeah.
like the fact that it's first person and first person shooters, the fact that you don't know what's next to you kind of thing. Like that's
Yep.
still scary. And I think that might be why a lot of people prefer third person. I think that might play into it outside of just seeing the character. But
Uh
yeah, I'm very happy for the horror games cuz a lot of them are starting to appear now. There's one game though that I'm pretty sure will never get made. And I want it to come back just because of all the censorship and stuff. And that's
okay.
Manhunt. Like I want Manhunt to come
No,
back.
that ain't coming back at all.
I
It
want
ain't
it to come
at
back.
all.
I'm gonna do a short that's probably gonna come out before this episode, which is hilarious. But I'm gonna do a short where I ask for Manhunt to come back, and I know it ain't gonna come back. I know the industry is not trying to go there, but I think I want it to come back, man. I want Manhunt to come back.
There's
It's a
still
different type of
there's
horror, but
still questions about remastering Bully because
yeah,
people still grasp the concept of the game. Manhunt ain't coming back.
I want a Bully too, man. I want a Bully too. Bully ain't nowhere near horror, but you know, it's Bully was really just the name. Like it was more tongue in cheek humor when you play it, but
Because
then
it was a bully being like it was fighting against bullies, but
yeah,
like everybody just saw the name and said nope.
yeah.
Hey, you know what? You know what needs a remaster though? Bring back Naughty Bear.
I think I heard of
Naughty
that.
Bear needs a remaster. It's a PS3 game where you're a stuffed animal bear killing other stuffed animal bears.
Wasn't there a PS2 version? I remember having that. I think
Maybe
I
I had
had that.
a,
The
I had a PS.
Bears. No. You know what? I think the history. I know the history behind it too. Wasn't it originally supposed to be Chucky, like the
Probably
from
it
Child's
was.
Play or whatever? But they didn't get the rights, and so then they just changed it, and then it's like the bears are now just killing each other. But it was literally supposed to just be Chucky.
Maybe
If I'm
it was.
thinking of the same game, But I know there was like a bear game where you run around and you can shoot at another bear and stuff, and that was like on PS2.
Yeah, and they were all stuffed animals. Like
Yeah,
there was a narrator like speaking over it like it's a kid's story or like a kid's show. But
that's
like
weird.
you can like grab a bear and like shove its head into like a grill and everything. Like it was gruesome, but like it'd just be stuffing and everything that falls around. And it's all because you ain't get invited to a birthday party. So there you go. Be nice to people.
Shout out to horror games. Hit the like button. Let me know what horror game you want to see, what concept you want to see, and also put in the comment section that you want Manhunt as well. Yes, we should do that. We should be like, yo, we want Manhunt. We gotta start a movement like, yo, we want to see the worst game ever get remade. Like you want to
Not
see
gonna-
horror. I remember the story behind it though, because I remember, or not behind it, but I remember like when they were trying to get it shut down. Like that made news when they was talking
Yep.
about games that are bad as far as like for kids and stuff. Because Rockstar used to be, Rockstar had some heat because of GTA for what that was,
Oh yeah.
but Manhunt was another one. Like they wanted Rockstar down. Like they came at Rockstar the way they came at Eminem back in the day. Like that's how serious it was. It's funny because I'm gonna talk about Power Rangers later on. I remember they came at Power Rangers as well.
Oh yeah.
So you know what? Maybe the censorship thing ain't new. Maybe it's we just looking at it differently now. But they
And
tried it
Power
over the years.
Power Rangers was brought up in the Barney movie, the I Love You, You Hate Me Barney documentary.
Oh
They
my
brought up Power
gosh.
Rangers there. Yep.
Oh my gosh. I heard about that because I haven't seen it. I remember the
I watched
details.
it.
You
I
watched
watched
it?
I saw it the day it released and
Wow.
I don't like people. It made me all it did it just made me mad at like people. Like
Mm-hmm.
civilization. Because like it
That's
was
crazy.
literally the whole thing is about pretty much it was adults created this is the early days of the internet making hate groups
Mm-hmm.
and like rebellious groups against a show that was specifically designed for 4 and under. It was known that they said that like even like all the shows for kids were like Power Rangers, GI Joe, and all that other stuff. That like there wasn't really anything for like 4 years old. So a lady that made something and it blew up, but the show was consistently for 4 year olds. One guy he made a hate group like it was like I forgot what it was called, but it was like the against Barney or something like that. And the whole reason why he made it is because he travels for work and he came home expecting his daughter to run up to him like "Daddy, Daddy, you're home," and like ran up to hug him. But instead, she was sitting down staring at Barney on the TV, and he got jealous. So he made a whole hate group about it
Oh
and
my
led a
god.
rebellion of people. Like, and it was just people who joined this thing. It was just like I hated it. One person was like, I hated it because I like Sesame Street, and it was like taking over. Like
Oh
this is
my god.
people. This is their logic, and they took this thing because they didn't like that. There was no like real sense of conflict. Things. It was just a show about care about each other, and they were like, I don't like that because I go through stuff in my life, and it's like the show's not for you. Like it was 17 and up, just bashing this show and wanting it destroyed for a show that was designed for 4 and under. So like oh, it made me mad at people. But
Yeah,
it's a good
people be
documentary.
doing too much. People be doing
The
too
dude from
much.
Blue's Clues was on there too because they were interviewing other like popular kid show stuff. So like Bill Nye was on there and a few others. That the dude from Blue's Clues, Steve, man, just one of the greatest people. He has a way like he does this thing. He was just like we all had that like best friend growing up, and he was talking about like the kids who really identify with Barney and everything. And he
Mm-hmm.
said it was, I think he said Oscar the Grouch or something like that. But then he like does this thing where he just looks at the camera and is like, "You, what was your favorite?" It's just he has a way to like, it's like, "Dang, are you really talking to just me?" Like, yeah, I don't know. He's good at it. He is a good TV host for like that type of stuff.
Nice.
But back to the point. My bad. I just had to, I promote it. If you want to see it, it's a very good documentary. Very well
Okay.
done. It
So
was
it's
weird
not
because
tongue in cheek. Like I was looking at it like
no,
it's tongue in cheek because of the stuff they were saying. At least with
no, it's
the
solid.
memes of the news of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid documentary. There's a guy who leads like a fan club for Barney, and he looks unhinged. Like it's a grown man, and he currently leads,
I still
but he just
remember. Do you remember that Barney meme where it was like this is the before and after of him working out, and it's just like this dinosaur that's like jacked. It's like
yeah,
purple. This
yep,
dinosaur that's jacked. It's like hilarious. I'm like, where did they get this like from? It's crazy. But
yeah, it's
yeah.
good.
All right, man. Hit the like button. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Uh, all right. Let me just do this right while I have the footage of me in the boss fight.
All right,
So I want to say because I don't think we've done this in a while because we were doing recommendations and then I think we kind of just stopped. But I want to recommend Eldest Souls. So this is a Souls-like game. This is what's on the screen right now. This is on multiple platforms. You should be able to find this everywhere. And I got the PC version because it was on sale at the time. It was $7.99, and I think they may have changed the name at the last minute because Elden Ring was hot. Because this game's not really that old, but it's basically what you see here, like a top-down Souls-like game, and it is actually focused like all on boss fights. It's all boss fights. It's like I think the game is like it's mainly deserted outside of a boss fight. You kind of walk around and then next thing you know, you come into the boss fight territory and you're like stuck in that area and you got to fight him and you can't leave until you beat him, right? So it's a boss fight and it's fun. It's very fun. I think a lot of people will probably have a good time playing this if they like Souls games, if they like Souls like games and they're really into those difficult bosses. This is like really early on. This is like an early on boss. I think this was the first one. Because at the beginning of this footage, I was at the very beginning of the game. I'll have a lot more footage of this going forward. I want to do the entire thing on camera, but for the footage I have here is it's very early on in the game, but I definitely recommend Eldest Souls for anybody who's looking for something outside of From Software. If they've played all the From Software games and they're still hungry for something else, this is a different, perspective of that type of game, right? So you have your character, you pick your class just like any other Souls game, and then you fight the boss. This is the Watchdog. I think in this podcast, at least, there should be me going against him and then one other boss, at least for this footage. But yeah, man, I recommend this. It's cheap. You will probably find it on sale this holiday season, I'm sure. Other than that, it normally retails for $20. So yeah, man. Souls like, have at it. Have at it.
sounds
And-
to me like Elden Ring copied.
I don't know who copied. I don't think. I mean, I don't
Well,
know which one. I'm
and
pretty
if
sure because this didn't come out when Elden Ring came out. One of them, like, was still in development at least for a little while. At least.
let's see who had the idea first. So Eldest Souls. You gotta see who was in development. So Eldest Souls, initial release date July 29, 2021.
Yeah, but when would it came out afterwards? I'm sure because the
Elden
name
2022.
because it's like Elden Ring was announced before, so maybe they was trying to capitalize on just the name because they knew what they were gonna do. But this was highly rated. I think it was highly rated. I don't think this was rated as a poor game.
Oh
I
no,
think
8 out of 10.
yeah, and then at the same time, I think there's DLC that came out with this game that includes more boss fights and stuff, and I don't think you don't have to pay anymore. At least for the
Hey,
PC version. It comes with it. So yeah, I recommend this for sure. I recommend this. Yeah. So
you know,
that's
all I'm saying is that it came out first, so therefore Elden Ring copied.
all right,
Elden
man.
Ring.
You cancel, not me. I'm not canceled. You
So
cancel.
you know what that means? You know what that means? If they
What?
copied, can Elden Ring really be Game of the Year? Oh,
Oh
I know a
my
game that could be Game
god.
of the Year. I
Go
did the
ahead.
transition.
All right, go cancel
Persona.
us. All right.
Persona 5 Royal. There's a joke going around saying that
Okay.
that's going to be Game of the Year, but with them re-releasing the Royal Edition,
Yeah.
Persona series has now sold over 15.5 million units.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a popular series in the
It's fully
Shin
multi-plat too now, right? So you can play it on anything, any
uh,
platform.
Shin Megami Tensei series.
Oh my god.
The
Yep.
the
You
the
canceled.
parent.
You canceled.
What?
You said it. You said it wrong
That's
again. You
all right.
canceled.
You go
Go
ahead
ahead.
and say it. You go ahead and
Shimigami
say it.
Tensei, bro. What did you
Okay.
say? You called it Mega Man series. Go ahead. You canceled. I'm not
Yeah,
canceled. Y'all
Shin
attack
Megami.
him. Don't attack me.
Anyways, they have now sold 19 million units.
He called it
So
Shimmy
out of
Mega
their
Man.
19, I said Shin Megami. So my
All
bad.
right.
Uh, walk me through it. What is it?
Go. No, go ahead.
Say,
You got it.
say it again.
Shimigami Tensei.
Okay, so they sold 19 million, right? The parent to Persona has now sold 19 million, with 15.5 million of that being the Persona series.
Okay.
So it is a highly rated series. Everybody loves this series, and it's just gonna keep growing with them re-releasing Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 coming next year.
Hit the like button if y'all want me to clip that so he can get canceled.
Go ahead. It's fine. I said it wrong. Bob bad. Anyways,
All right.
just struggle trying to say a whole game last episode. Like you struggled.
Yeah,
You
I
couldn't even.
did. But that's not like the top of the line RPG though. That's not like
Okay,
it's
I
not
don't.
the game.
Whatever.
It
Anyway,
was a Watermelandria like game. I don't know. So yeah.
Saturn Nutella. All right.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, for this series, it is growing. So like, it is back in the talk. Like everyone has already established that it's like the best, and I guess this is just showing that it is the best. I'm 148 hours.
Wow.
Probably at the time of this recording, I'm
Mm,
148 hours into Persona 5 Royal.
mm.
So I've officially beaten the Persona 5 portion where that would have ended. Uh,
But you
and
know
now
what?
I'm on,
Them they sprinkled it all in, right? Because it's mainly that one girl.
so the Royal stuff is sprinkled throughout, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to do, and this is for people that plan on playing Persona 5 Royal, which you can look online for the guides, but there's like 3 confidants that you have to kind of max out by a certain date. And
Mm,
if you do, then a few like choices in conversation. But if you do that, then you unlock the true ending, which means you get to do the Persona 5 Royal stuff.
mm.
So if you don't do that, then the game kind of ends
Okay.
uh, in its calendar thing, and then you would have to do a replay to get
Yikes.
to the ending.
I
So
don't want to do a replay, but I am in the
with
beginning of
the-
it. Yeah.
that's what some people do. They do the replay for this because there are certain kind of different ways it can end, and there's different like story routes that you can take. So I don't think there's enough time in the game to max every single confidant. So you get certain different stories from like maxing certain in the game by doing the extra stuff. But you know, I plan on giving this one solid playthrough. Maybe it's something like 10 years from now. I go back and replay, but I really plan on playing the other ones. I don't know. 148 hours is hard to just find again to do.
How was like the trophies when you got to that point? Because you played on PlayStation, right?
Yeah, they're good. Like they pop up. I haven't been trophy hunting, so I haven't looked at like everything I need do to get trophies, but I do think you would require multiple playthroughs to platinum, at least 2 playthroughs to platinum the trophies. Because I
Okay.
did hear a New Game Plus, that's where it's beneficial to replay again. I believe they said the levels that you have people at for confidant stuff um stays, so it's going to be much easier to max the confidants if you do a second playthrough.
Okay.
Um, Now, besides that, I will say also, and I want to know what your thought about this part is. Okay, turns out once you get to the actual royal portion, screen recording is blocked.
I is that just through the console though? Because can't you still stream, and can't you still?
Don't think so because it's blocked every because whenever I looked up certain things, like for example, remember how we so I said I would bring it up that I have the Featherman costumes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Featherman is an in-universe version, is like a parody of Power Rangers, where some people said if they make a Persona 6, they would want it to be focused on the Featherman and everything, like just make them the main characters instead of just putting the costume in there. But like Featherman is their in-game universe, and you can give all of your team the Featherman costumes, which I do. And one of the characters that is only possible to play with through Royal, like through the true ending, if you try to look up anything with her in the costume for it, it's a picture of someone taking off their phone on the screen. Like I think all recording is just blocked for that part, and they copyright it. You're not allowed to post it.
Now,
And
okay.
anyway,
Now the copyrighted part where you can't post it, I kind of get what they're trying to do. I don't agree with it because that sounds like early Nintendo days, but like
uh huh. They
I
really want that part to be a surprise if you get to it, but it's weird to be. I feel like so maybe streaming, you could get it up, but I don't think you could just have the video up. It's gonna get taken back down quickly because I can't
yeah.
find even when I found like certain guides on like because there's these certain things in the game called will seeds that can be a bit of a struggle to get.
Hmm.
Uh, so when I was looking up for one will seed because I was missing one, and I scrolled too far and I got to the like end game stuff, which the thing was nice. It blocked out any names for that would be too much of a spoiler of what was happening. So I'm not gonna spoil anything. But it said for that part, it was like for this palace, they were like excuse the images for the map because they can't take a screen picture of anything. It all had to be from like an external thing taking a photo of the TV or of the screen because it blocks it all. Even when I play the game, it tells me like screen like recording or like recording is blocked for this segment of the game.
What's interesting about that though, I think part of it was that maybe people would have thought like buying the game over like before. You know how with Last of Us One, all the things that people were saying just now, like it might have been a cash grab, it might have been this and that.
Uh,
Maybe they were probably future proofing, like they didn't want anybody to say that, and then they didn't want to have like certain things spoiled, so that people won't just say, "Oh, I just looked this up because I've already done like so much." But like
right.
that, and then wrote like the word of mouth was that people were saying like it's worth it. I remember a lot of people always said it's worth it. So I remember initially I played Persona 5 for like 5 to 10 hours just to see if I would like it. And then it was like if I liked it, then I'll go back to Royal and I'll get Royal because Persona 5 was made um free for me for being on PS Plus, but
Right.
Royal wasn't. And so once I realized that I would like it, um, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and play Royal. My bad. You see what happened on the screen? I actually got thrown in this part. I remember this. I got you fall down a chute, and then I'm like, okay, where the boss at? Because I know I'm in the boss area. Where he at? Where he at? And then boom. I was like, oh shoot.
Oh,
Oh shoot. This was a boss fight for real, man. This was the boss fight for this footage. Like the remaining of this footage, I'm gonna be honest, this is the boss fight. But yeah, to get back on topic, um, I think part of it was that they didn't want it to be spoiled because they also wanted everybody to go back and go back and rebuy the game if they've already played it.
Uh huh.
And if it was spoiled, then people probably wouldn't have done it. That's what
I
I'm
do have an
thinking.
issue with that though. I do have an issue with that now, and here's why:
Hmm.
because it's still blocked now, right?
Right.
You still can't do it. Royal came out in 2019. So anyone who played Persona 5
Hmm.
and they really wanted this new ending, they would have gotten Persona 5 Royal. Right? I'm playing Persona 5 Royal currently and it just got released on like PS5 and everything. And I'm playing the PS4 like version,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And now it's on Switch and things like that. It's 2022. Why is it still blocked? Like people are playing it to play it. So they're like, even if someone new is jumping into it, they just don't look it up, and then boom, it's not spoiled for you.
Right.
So I don't think anyone's just like, well, I'm just gonna like. There are certain games for sure where it's just like for example, was it Arkham Knight? In order to get the true like secret ending, which was like just a couple like 40 seconds more, um, you had to get all of the Riddler trophies, and I wasn't getting all of the Riddler trophies, so I just watched the ending.
Right.
I was like, I played the game, and I'm gonna watch the ending now. And I get blocking that initially because then it's like, well, why would they buy this whole second version of the same game when they already did the first one? They could just watch what they missed. But
I
now it's
think I
like,
watched the
why
cutscenes
is it
for
still
Arkham
blocked?
City, if I remember correctly, when it came
Yeah.
to the Riddler trophies, because it was
But
so
then it's like,
many.
but it's still blocked. Why is it still blocked? So I don't like that. That it's like,
I'm kind of confused on that because if I had went on here and I recorded through, let's say, this software that I'm using to make the podcast, or through the Elgato, like I would still be able to capture the footage live. And
maybe,
so,
yeah, probably.
yeah, because I think it is like programmed to not record in the system. Because I know other footage for certain games they do that where it's like this is
Cuts.
not recorded or whatever. I've seen
Yeah.
them do that. But it's like if you use some other software footage, like you
You
should.
can share it, but if you post it on like YouTube or anything, it gets taken down like instantly.
Yeah, because I
Hey,
wonder about that. Because I wouldn't have known, and I would like, let's say, like I would have put it right here in the middle on with the
I
rocket
was
launcher
very
pod.
careful to make sure it was just early game stuff. But yeah, if you put it on the later stuff, they would have taken down the podcast. I think because the footage is in there.
Wow. Yeah, so maybe I have to look at. I hope Eldest Souls ain't like that. I'm like, yo, I'm plugging it. I'm trying to help you out. But you know what? Like, I remember thinking that about the Kirby footage, and I was like, okay, I'll just have like it in the third hour part if there's a third hour. But then afterwards, I was like, well, I could show some of this. And the main thing was that with the podcast, it's not any audio being played. Even
Right.
with this game and stuff, like there's still boss fight music and all that stuff going on. Like there's no audio being played in this format. And then I'm on screen with it, and then outside of that, it's like inside of a picture box when you look at the podcast format. So I felt like that should be considered transformative when it comes to YouTube content. But that
Uh,
goes bigger than that. It's just like, no, they don't want anything being shown, period. It's like, man.
'Cause they even said specifically in guide, they were like, "Hey, don't spoil this part of the game for people and everything." Like they have messages that say that before it release. But in
Hmm.
my head, I'm like, "You're treating this like Royal is just now releasing for the first time." And it's not like it would have been like if they
Yeah.
said, "Hey, don't spoil the ending to Last of Us remake." And you're like, "But it's just Last of Us, like it's the same ending
Yeah.
and everything." What do you mean, don't spoil the ending to Last of Us? Like it's been out. Like that's how they're treating it, and I think that's really weird. But alas, I'm still gonna play the older ones, and I'm still gonna
Yeah.
finish this one. Just not rushing through it, and then I took a break for content. That's the other thing. I will say this for anybody that's about to jump into the Persona game. Sometimes the cutscenes and like either interactive-ish cutscenes where you just like you respond when people are talking. They can take a while. So like there might be a very long time in between saving. uh and I mean like straight up, like I think for one of the games it was like almost an hour of just there was just talking until it saved. Until it let me save, and I just had to sit there and just keep hitting X to get through the dialogue. Uh, so be wary of that. Don't be like, I'm gonna hop on here for 10 minutes. Like it's not one of those.
Yeah, of course. This is it's mapped out day by day. You go to
Yep.
work and come back, and then you go to work in the
But
game.
there's certain ones where because you're stuck in a story, you go through all of that, but then there's just dialogue that controls what you do throughout the day, and then goes to the next day, and you'll have to go through an entire week
Mm,
before you can save again.
mm.
So save
Yeah,
when you have the option to save it, because you never know what's gonna happen if it just cuts off.
I gotta admit that was a reason why I slowed down, because I was under this impression at one point that I could just play a day's worth, which is like a certain amount of time, like an hour or something, while I during the work week and stuff, and it could still
Yeah.
go right along. And it's like, no, that's not true. Like sometimes like big events happen and it'll kind of trap you in there. And so
Yes.
it slowed me down. So I was like, I can't do this during the work week, because obviously the
I
work
get
week.
it.
So yeah. So, but I did want to play it on the weekends, and at the same time, I'm like, well, how long would that take for this type of game? So I slowed down, but I'm not gonna give up on it. I'm not gonna give up on it.
All right.
Um,
I got another transition.
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Finding time to play games during the work week is crazy, but it's not that crazy for the president. So
All right, we
the
cancel. All right, go ahead. We cancel. Go
there's a
ahead.
Guilty Gear tournament, North America and Europe. And in this current tournament, right, number 29, out of the top 8 players, number 1, it has the handle at POTUS. And their name is Joe Biden. And they've been washing everybody in the tournament. They don't talk. There's no appearance. There's no little image of them. They won't reply with images. They just win the tournament and then disappear.
And we
And
we have not identified this person. We don't know who this is.
nobody knows who it is, and
It's the
apparently
president.
they've been in, get this, 116 tournaments in total.
Wow.
He's gotten results in, and for the past 2 years, it's just been washing people in all of these tournaments, mainly
Oh
Guilty
my
Gear.
gosh.
For the past 2 years, it is just Joe Biden at POTUS, and just winning, and then they just disappear in the night. Like they're not. No one's walking up like it's me. Like it's just they've been doing that. So, president is currently a big player of Guilty Gear. They just been washing everybody in Guilty Gear.
All right. We'll hit the like button for him. He's been keeping busy with our taxpayer money. So go right ahead. Hit the like button. This is not really the halfway point, but I want to do this at the half. This being the halfway point, because I'm pretty sure this is gonna go by very quickly,
All right.
because we might not have that much left. We have a little bit left, but it's not gonna take that much longer. So normally during the halfway point, I let you know about some free games and some deals, but because this is a pre-record, I did that last week, quote unquote last week. But yeah, what I normally say is go to Epic Games, create a profile, our unofficial sponsor, and pick up their games. The games that should be out for this recording would be from November 3rd to November 10th, if I'm not mistaken. And those games, what did I say these names were? Because I gotta look back on my other page. That was Filament and then Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. So those are the two games that you can get that's going to be as of this recording until the 10th. And then you're going to also want to get or keep a lookout for the games that's going to probably be from the 10th to the 17th of November. for Epic Games. I don't know what else is going to be on sale, but I will say that's getting very, very close to Black Friday time. So definitely save your money because those deals actually get popping that Sunday before Black Friday. And that was when I actually bought the not last year. In 2020, I bought the PS5 and Series X when I caught them online the Sunday before Black Friday. So definitely stay online for if you need the system. I think they're going to do it again that way. It should be open and available, as well as plenty of games just being like marked down during that time. Yeah, so that's the halfway point. I don't know what else to say about that. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention that might be real brief because I put here future of gaming on my list. This was me talking about how I'm excited about the future. Everything that I was mainly excited about was in the horror games topic. The only other thing I can say is that, yeah, like God of War really is going to be like right around the corner. And then there's a couple hot releases in between. There's still the next Pokemon game as we could talk about in the Pokemon portion. And then there's Tears of the Kingdom that's going to be big on the Nintendo side. I think it was May. Was it May that they said it was going to be released?
Yeah. I believe they said May.
Yeah, and then Xbox gets to have their revenge at some point where they come out with Redfall and Starfield in 2023. So I think from November until every month in 2023, I think we're going to get hit with back-to-back big releases. Isn't a lot coming out?
Spider-Man's coming out.
Yeah.
What else is coming out next year? A lot of stuff that got pushed back from this year. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is coming out next year.
I don't know if anybody remember, but like this past February was kind of stacked for gaming, right? There was so many games that came out, and yes, Elden Ring was like the biggest one. But the way 2003 is looking, it might not be that many games in 1 month, but it looked like we might get at least 2 to 3 big releases every month.
Hogwarts Legacy next year.
Yeah, that's also January, right? So that comes out at the same time as Dead Space, right?
Tekken 8 might be coming out next year. Same as Dead Space. Yeah, Tekken 8 might be coming out next year. I know it's not probably like everyone's cup of tea, but I still have eyes on it. The game Forspoken, I still have eyes on it.
What was the date on that? That was February, right? Wasn't that one February? I think that was February. But yeah, it was just like it seemed like there's at least
January. That's also January.
Oh, that's also January. Yeah, so it's at least 2 to 3 big games that seems to be coming out every month, at least for the first half. That's the way it seems, and we're kicking things off early. It's not just 23. We're kicking things off right now in November. That's and it's hey man.
Black Myth Wukong supposed to come out next year.
Bruh. Like
yeah, there's a lot. Like there's a lot of stuff. Even this year there's this game that I'm interested in that we haven't talked about. But I do want to give a shout out to Evil West.
I think that might be out. I don't know. Am I?
About 22nd.
I'm confusing that with another one. There's like a couple of them that are like I get confused, but
there was a top-down like cowboy like one. This one is more hack and slash. You're going through and you're fighting or like vampires, but surprisingly, it looks like a heavy like over-the-top killer zombie thing. But they said their inspiration comes from like God of War and like another one like that. So like I'm interested to see that one too. But yeah, the list keeps going. There's a lot of things.
I'm gonna give y'all an Easter egg because this is a video I'm gonna do a solo vid on. But I technically already did. I write the script for this? I wrote a script for a video, but one of them was a game that was announced. I think it was announced initially at Xbox's summer show. It was called Flintlock. I don't know if you remember it, but it
Uh-huh.
looked similar to like a God of War kind of thing, and it had like a black girl with an axe, if I remember correctly. And it's
Yep.
like that. That was on my radar. That's something I wanted to highlight more. That might. It's funny this video. This is the pre-record, so that video might actually come out before the pre-record. I'm talking about an Easter egg. So my channel all over the place. Hit the like button so my channel could be in order. That's how it gets in order. You know, everything's all over the place. There was a game called it's funny because I want to say T'Challa. Rest in peace. Shout out
Oh
to
yeah.
Black Panther 2. It's not T'Challa, it's called Chia. I think it's called
Yep.
Chia,
Yep.
which
Yep.
is like it is heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild. And at the
Uh-huh.
same time you could possess like some animals and do some stuff. It was like, yo, like I'm looking forward to that too. So it ain't just the big games, there's some indie ones out there. And then Elder Souls is the game that's on the screen, but there was a couple of Souls like games that I wanted to play. The one that I mentioned last episode that's going to be coming out was called Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I'm interested in that.
Uh-huh.
We mentioned Black Myth Wukong. That is super high. That is top 5 for me. Um, Thymesia is out. I haven't gotten it yet, but I want to play that one too. Just Souls like games is just I'm really into it now because I like the idea of being able to challenge, like get the challenge of certain games that everybody else is like scared of. Like, yo,
Yeah.
like I ain't scared
And
of no ghosts. Like I'm in there,
there's
so
one that we haven't mentioned that I think is going to be Game of the Year 2023.
oh my god. Go ahead, cancel yourself. Go ahead. Which
Another
one?
Crab's Treasure. Another Crab's Treasure. Remember the Souls like crab
Oh
game?
yeah. Yeah, I want to play that too. I think that
Yep.
is set for next year too.
Sometime in 2023. Yep.
Yeah, so indie games as well as big games in 2023 is coming, but we're like on the cusp of it now. Cuz I think
Yeah.
once this episode comes out, the very next week God of War comes out cuz I think that was on this is
12th.
supposed to come out on the 4th if I'm not mistaken. I forgot. The first week of November is when this is coming out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's supposed to come out the second week of November, right? And then we got
Oh,
the holidays, this Thanksgiving and stuff. It's huge if you a gamer. Like, it makes so much sense why so many fake gamers is coming in all of a sudden. Like all these street. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, like yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. They're back to back. It's almost like you are watching like a musical and they just keep playing different songs, right? And then speaking of musicals,
I lost track of that transition for a second. So it turns out if
go
you weren't
ahead.
the biggest fan of Matrix 4, don't worry because that's not the end. Danny Boyle,
Oh my god.
director of 28 weeks later or 28 days later, Slumdog Millionaire,
There's no
um
way you could sell this, but go ahead.
yeah. I'm telling you, yeah, the Danny Boyle who did 28 days later. He did Slumdog
God.
Millionaire. He did I don't know T2 Transpotting and Train Spotting, The Beach, like 127 hours. All of these, he's gonna be making, a stage musical version of The Matrix.
How do you
So
even
the music,
how? Like what they how they gonna sing instead of fight? They gonna sing.
stop, no wait, watch me dodge you, and then there's gonna be bending backwards,
How, bro?
dodging. But it's called Free Your Mind, and it's gonna recreate some of the film's most iconic scenes.
They go, like cut out all of the actual everything was CGI. How you gonna do that live in front of an audience? Like I don't even know.
It's described as a large scale immersive performance
All right.
based on the Matrix films, a dramatic retelling through dance, music, and visual effects.
Bro, they gotta
You
record that. Are they gonna record it? I just want to
know,
see the recording. I ain't trying to go down there.
a cast of professional dancers and hundreds of Manchester participants will recreate some of the film's most iconic scenes, provoking visions of an alternate future. And but I forgot to mention, it's not just any or sort of musical; it's a hip hop musical.
Okay, so they gonna rap. You gonna
Yeah,
rap battle? It's gonna be Neo versus Agent Smith in a
yep.
rap battle.
He has UK hip hop choreographer Kendrick H2O Sandy of Boy Blue Entertainment, who
Oh my
collaborated
god.
on the 2012 Olympic opening ceremony in London, according to the rap. Uh,
You know
they
what's
also got
funny?
composer, producer, and DJ Michael Mikey J. Asante
Oh my god.
is also on board, and they got all these other people, and it's gonna come out October 18th, 2023. It's another thing to look forward to in 2023.
Stop it. What if Matrix Resurrection? Like, what if it was a musical? It almost might as well have been a music, but what if it was? Like, it would have been that much worse. Just, oh my
Oh,
god.
man. Do you think Keanu's gonna be in this one?
He better
What
not.
if Lawrence Fishburne returns for this one?
Oh my god. Yeah, that's the one that he's in. The hip
Yeah.
hop musical one. Like, okay. All right. His daughter could be a video. Never mind. All right, let's we can move on. We can move on.
Oh man. Yeah, I
Before
don't
we
know
cancel.
how they're gonna establish all of that Matrix lore into stage play. But speaking of lore, I want to talk about Pokemon. So,
right.
Pokemon lore is wild. Like I don't know, like as for a kids game, and I'm not talking about like like Creepypasta had the good stuff and like all of
Right.
the like those things, but like I mean legit in game like facts. Like there's this one Pokemon called Spoink. It's like a pig with like a spiral tail that it bounces on, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't stop bouncing because if it stops bouncing, its heart stops moving and it dies. Like this is just in the game. Or there's this like chandelier or like a balloon Pokemon that like it's like a ghost that'll go
Yeah.
towards children and like it's supposed to lead them to death or something like that. Like it's dark stuff in this series for all these like little cute creatures. Like Charmander, if his tail goes out, it dies.
I remember hearing that. I do remember
Yep,
hearing that.
that's
I
the thing.
remember the dark lore behind the original. It was a tower or something. I think it was a
Uh,
tower that you would go into, and it was like all ghost Pokemon in Pokemon
yeah,
Red and Blue.
where
Like
you get the gat.
yeah, I remember like the dark stuff behind that. I remember seeing all the sad memes about Cubone because
Yeah,
Cubone put the skull.
his mama's
Like, what is wrong with this? Y'all? Stop.
which in Pokemon Sun and Moon,
Yeah.
you can get the Alolan Marowak, which is the evolved form of Cubone, which is supposed to be the mama, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
ghost type.
Mm.
It's a ghost type. So lore is crazy. Well, the newest Pokemon that they've introduced,
All
it's
right.
called Revard. And it's like this shaggy dog with a candle head. Like it's a shaggy dog where its hair makes a candle and it's a little light on the top. And it's a ghost dog. And it just wants to have a friend and it's just nice and friendly and cuddly. But while you hug it, it drains the life force of whoever's hugging it and everything. So it can't have a friend because the person starts dying when it's around it and all it wants is a friend. This is what they introduced for the new
Oh
game.
my
It
god.
was so sad that a YouTuber and Pokemon person um has figured out a way through Pokemon lore for you to keep a Greavard without it killing you if they were real. And the idea is you're supposed to use. Do you remember Togepi from the original show that Misty had the little thing in the egg?
Yeah, that's his evolved
Yeah.
form is like one of my top Pokemon in Soul
Yeah.
Silver.
So
Yeah.
Togepi's lore says it like its energy comes from like the love of others and everything. That's the whole point. It's not feeding off of it, but it gets energy from the friendship it makes. And then Grievard feeds off of the energy of friendship that it makes. So if you pair those two together, there's an infinite loop. So Grievard doesn't have to feed off of anybody else because it can feed off of Togepi. But then loving Togepi means Togepi constantly has energy that it can give for Grievard to feed off of.
Oh, wow.
So that's the lore that people come up with. So if they were real, you would need both. But it's just the idea that like it's this kid's game, and then somebody was like, "Yo, make this the backstory." Like that's cool.
Yeah. Do you think the Ash Ketchum thing was like real? And that it's not really a so what I'm getting at is like they said he was in a coma and
Uh huh.
like they had just made it dark. I remember they did that with like a whole bunch of Nickelodeon shows too. It was like really,
Yeah,
really dark, creepy pastas, but
it works for the storyline of like why Ash never ages because he's
yeah.
in a coma, and every time he creates a new person, like when he meets a new person, it's like him slightly coming out of the coma and passing back out with just whoever he just saw. There was the whole thing that like that's why all the nurses and the police look the same because
Mm,
it's just reflective of a nurse and a police that he met. So he thinks that's what nurses and police look like.
mm-hmm.
So it works in there, but I don't think they did that. Like the only reason why is because I remember. Do you remember the Ed and Eddie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember how
So
dark that one was
it
too.
was more that they were all like dead and from different
Yeah.
periods of time. So they're all ghosts living in this cul-de-sac, and they said that's why their tongues are blue because of like they're dead. And the creator right away said the tongues are blue because one day his kids came home after playing outside with like they had like suckers and jawbreakers and things like that. And when they came home, because of the candy, their tongue was blue. So he just made their tongues blue in the
Bro, the
show.
jawbreakers in that show was so hilarious. Because it was like the size of their head and they would just stretch their cheek out like so exaggerated. It was just crazy.
Want one of those too. If like if they existed and it's like 75 cents. Like,
That's
yeah, I
crazy.
get it. But yeah, Pokemon lore. It's
But you know what? I would say real quick. I'm still playing Pokemon Soul Silver. I'm very much enjoying it. I will be playing Emerald next. I'm technically taking my time with Pokemon because I remember before I was like, hey Pokemon fans, I get it. I think I said a video like that a long time ago. It feels like it's so long ago, even though it might not have been that long ago. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm into it. Pokemon Violet is or Scarlet and Violet, but I want to get Violet. I'm not getting that day one because I'm so far behind in Pokemon, but I am going to get it, and I want it to be Violet. I'm
okay.
not gonna wait too late either, but I think I would save my money for Tears of the Kingdom first. So at the very least, I might wait 5 months or 6 months. But
So
yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it.
I'm gonna get Scarlet, and that's probably gonna be my Thanksgiving like break.
Did you
It's gonna be.
finish Legends Arceus? I think it's called.
I need to jump back into it.
Okay, I
And
bought
it
it.
was
I didn't
great. It's
finish
just
it. I didn't touch it, but I
yeah, I
bought it.
didn't give it to like. It's a game that I like stare at, and it's not
Hmm.
one that you kind of still play in the background
Right,
of
right,
certain
right.
things. Where you got to be a little more active, which is good. But I just want to give it its proper time. So I'll get
Yeah.
back into that.
Soul Silver is cool. Excuse me. Soul Silver is like I can just literally just pick it up. I admit it. I was playing it a little bit while at work. I should not have
Ooh,
been doing that.
fired, fired, you fired.
They ain't gonna hear this. Hopefully they'll hear this. They'll be alright. They'll be like, my bad, my bad. But yeah, man, I got the dragon there in there. I'm gonna work him up to a Dragonite,
Charizard.
But I was playing that mini game. I know I mentioned this like an episode or two ago. I was playing the mini game that was like a Sudoku kind of thing, and I was doing really good with it. I had like a notebook out where I was writing on it and everything to like do all the deduction. And then I finally had enough points, I guess, to um buy the Pokemon that I wanted and needed. And then afterwards I was just like, all right, let me resume the game, and I kept resuming the game. It's still very good. I'm 7 badges into that bad boy now. I know it's 16,
Hey,
so yeah. I really like it. I like it. I understand where Pokemon fans are with the game. I'm not too obsessed though. Like I don't still understand the obsession. I know there was a whole bunch of stuff I was saying about like the obsession of the Pokemon cards was a whole thing that I was talking about before, probably off air. But at least for the games, I get it. It's cool. I get it. But I do still think it's way too many of them that be on like one system at a time. I think they should have had like not take one character and put them in the whole another one. Uh, I don't know. I'm still on the edge on that one. But like I know I have Soul Silver, so I can't. I won't have. Is he called Ho-Oh? Is that what his name? So technically, I'll never be able to get him, but I'm cool with it now and stuff because I'm just catching up. But at the same time, it's just like, eh.
So
But
I guess they used to try and make you either buy both or make friends.
yeah,
They wanted you to buy both. Let's be honest.
yeah,
But now because I plan on getting Scarlet, any Pokemon that you're missing, I can always just trade over to you.
yeah. I won't wait too late. I might skip up to that one and then just do other ones in the past. Like I don't think I'm gonna just chronologically go in order because they're not really connected, right? Like some of the in-game details might be connected, but it's not the same person. Like you keep recreating your people, right?
No,
So
the only ones that are connected are Black and White volumes 1 and 2, where you got to do that in order, and then technically Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But I
right,
think if I remember correctly, you could just go directly to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and not bother with Sun and
okay,
Moon. It was more enhanced versions where Black and White 2 and 1 were, I think, slightly different stories, if I remember correctly. One takes place like 7 years after the other, is the
yeah,
idea. Keep in mind, just for when you get to there, if you play Black Volume 1, then you want to play Black Volume 2. If you play White Volume 1, you want to play White Volume 2 because that's how you get the other legendary. If you switch in between, you're going to get the same legendary.
okay. Yeah, I'm still well aware of certain things because I did do my research on everything. That's why I picked Soul Silver over like the regular one and everything. But yeah, so
I played Platinum.
you play Platinum?
Oh, no, that was Diamond and Pearl. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. I did play Soul Silver as well. I played Soul Silver. Uh, Emerald was my first one. And then I went back and played Fire Red. Played Soul Silver, and then I played, what was that, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. I played Pearl, and then I played Platinum.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm in there. I'm in there. I don't talk about it too much, but I play. It's still very easy to just pick that up on a handheld. Like when you get off work, you just want to lay down and chill. Like
Yeah.
you want to eat something, then just like you pick up a handheld. You don't want to fire up. Like I got a bunch of systems and stuff and nice TV and stuff, but I don't want to just like it's a hassle in a way almost sometimes when it's like the work week. It's a hassle
Yep.
sometimes.
I
Shoot.
get it.
And then on top of that being a YouTuber, okay. All right. But yeah. Um yeah, so shout out to Pokemon. And then on top of that, we got their rival. If you want to call them their rival. Some people might say no, they're left in the dust. But then there's
Ooh.
also Digimon coming out with
Yeah.
their games. So
So, Digimon World Next Order is going to be coming out for the Switch uh, in 2023. Another thing in 20, and coming out for Windows in 2023. So it was out for the Vita,
hey, so you can play the
then it was
Steam
out
Deck.
for PS4, and now it's going to be on the Switch and on Windows. Uh,
Okay.
and they also who was it? The Digimon producers were also saying there are a bunch of games like multiple Digimon games in the work. Like they have multiple Digimon game products in the pipeline. So I guess they're happy with the way Survive did, and they're just like, all right, well, next order's coming back, more systems, and get ready because more Digimon's coming.
Mm. All right.
I enjoy the Digimon games. I still got to play World or I still got to play Next Order, and I still do have to play Survive. I think I'm going to hold off on Next Order until the Switch because it does feel like a good game to play on the Switch. Uh, and then Survive I'll get at some point.
Survive don't seem like a game you could just play real quick. It seems like it's going to be a little time consuming. But
Yes,
I do
very
know like they got it at my library. I was looking at it, I was like, yo, this just came out and it's here. But
hey.
it might be too long for that. So, but I'm into Digimon. I will say it's funny because I started the Digimon game Cyber Sleuth before Pokemon Soul Silver, but when it comes to the games, I have to put the Pokemon experience over Digimon, unfortunately.
Okay.
But when it comes to the show, it's like the opposite. It's like the exact
Yes.
opposite for me. I am way more into that show than the Pokemon show.
I like both. I grew up off of the Pokemon games and the Digimon show, so I'm the same
Yeah,
way.
I watched both
Yeah,
when
I,
I was younger. Even the
yeah,
movies, like the Mewtwo versus Mew movie.
yep.
Yeah,
But I did watch like it was when they switched from Misty and Brock that I didn't watch anymore. Kind of before that I stopped watching. But Digimon, I watched like 4 or 5 different of the series.
yeah.
But I
Pokemon was
enjoyed the game.
getting weird though, because I remember they were teasing a Ash Misty thing, and then it just didn't happen. Is that the official thing? It just didn't happen.
Yeah,
Like,
she became a leader and he kept training and then met Dawn.
yeah, but I remember she said something slick in one episode that I remember catching. And I was like, yo, like, they really went there? Because she said something like, one day we gonna be married or something. But she
Yeah.
said it under her breath and was hoping he didn't hear it. I don't know what episode that was. But, and I was so confused because I was like, I didn't know they was going there because it was like an episode where it was just on. And I had long stopped watching the show. And then they just went there. And like maybe a hardcore fan would know. Because it was similar to like, it remind me of like Hey Arnold with Helga, where one day she finally went there. But they
I
did
remember
that.
she
You
almost
remember?
killed what was it, the grandpa? The old man? She
Yeah,
her necklace and she like used the fishing line and was reeling it and it started like hanging him. And he was like choking and she just kept trying to pull it and did not care. She had a shrine of him in the closet. Like, oh,
yeah,
she
that was
crazy.
crazy. That was real crazy. I don't think I would want somebody to be like that for me. Like you could be
You know,
normally like me, but not like that. So
I I say I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't be, but like, sure,
no,
what
no,
you want to be obsessed? Be obsessed. Who am I to stop?
not like
I get
that. No, because then there goes your car when she busts the tire, not but slash the tires, bust the windows, key it, all of that. That one video where that girl tried to set the car on fire and like blew her back, like that's what you gonna get. That's what's gonna
it.
happen in real life. So no, that's a no
Yeah,
for me, dog. But yeah, Misty, she went there in one of the episodes. Somebody knows. Whoever comes back later and watch each episode in archives, somebody knows what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
She got replaced with Dawn. Speaking of replacements, though,
Here we go.
it's my last thing. Yeah,
All right.
transition. We working on it.
All right.
So the Witcher TV series, it just broke, as of recording.
Mm.
So the news would have been already out. They got renewed for a season 4, but Henry Cavill, now that he's back, um,
As
Henry
Superman.
Cavill is like, yeah, he's like, all right, well, deuces, and in a very nice and nerdy, like way, he's passing the torch, and now Liam Hemsworth is going to be taking over the role of Geralt.
You
So he's the
know,
new White Wolf.
when this comes out, that information is going to be at least a week and a day old. It's like I wonder how the public is going to take that. I do think that
Well,
overall the
people
public
already
is.
know.
Yeah, I can imagine though if it really came down to it, people would still choose Superman over him though, over
Yeah,
Garo. I think people still would
we'll
choose
say
it, but they
the
want
one of the
both.
last posts I just saw said, I don't even watch The Witcher, but this makes me mad." So where
That
people are
doesn't
at.
make sense, but okay.
I don't think they like Liam Hemsworth for some reason, but
Uh,
I guess they just don't see him as a suitable.
as long as he don't end up like the Black Wesker from Resident Evil, as long as that don't happen.
He was the only good part of the show.
I just mean like the way I did say that wrong. I would just be as long as the show don't end up like
Oh, I got you.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
just
like or they just go full like because he was Bane at one point or Blade. My bad, he was Blade at one point basically. It
but
got
also,
so goofy.
yeah, Henry Cavill, I think is being Superman, and you're like, why can't he do both? Well, the dude's a nerd, and apparently he's gotten really into I want to say it was Warhammer 40K. Uh,
Wow,
so or Total Warhammer, one of them that like that's been taking up all his time. He's been talking about it, just saying like he's been playing that like it's a full time job.
wow. He
So
can't choose. No, give the people The Witcher, bro. You could play that
uh, he's
in the
playing his.
dressing room when they put makeup on you and stuff. Like you could be playing that on
You
the
never
handheld.
save. You don't know what you can save.
He
So
could
he's
take
just
he could take the Steam Deck to the studio, man. He can do that. What is he doing? So I don't know.
so say that was the reason. He just said it's time to pass it on, and he's passing it on to Liam. Even though people are calling him out because he said I'll play this role for as long as like it's going, and now he's leaving. Oh,
We don't want him to leave, man. We want to live in the past. We want to live with the old one. We don't want him to go, bro. We want to live in the past. Speaking of living in the past, I got an announcement. I went back and bought some old game systems, man. I keep doing it. I had to do it.
you.
I went back and got the Nintendo Wii and the Xbox 360. So if anybody's been following, I went back and rebought a PS3, but this time it was the back and pat one. And this time I went back and rebought a Wii. This time it's the back and pat original one that has GameCube support. And I got an Xbox 360 because I wanted to make sure that if there is a game out there and it's a hidden gem, it's the original to some remake, whatever it is, if I want to play it, I have access to play it. If it's not doing good through emulation, it's not just over. Like I can still play that one game somehow, some way. And then also, if I can share the footage with the podcast or just on the channel. So yeah, I went back and got those systems. I just wanted to do it. It actually wasn't too expensive. The PS3 was the only thing that was really expensive. The Wii was actually very affordable, especially to have GameCube support.
Hey, was you up, man?
I didn't get the Wii U. I don't think I will ever get the Wii U. That's like the one system I'm gonna just let go. Mainly because almost everything, I think everything, literally everything that I wanted was ported to the Switch. Even stuff I haven't bought yet is like it's on the Switch though. I don't have to get that system. So that's the one system I probably won't get, even though I heard it's like a homebrew beast for anybody out there in the emulation. I wouldn't need to do that because I've already set up the PC with it. My next big goal is a real PC tower with a lot of bells and whistles. Probably not going to be the 4090 because of the debacle of its initial release, but at least with a 3080 or 3090 is what I would aim for, and I'll have a nice PC tower for content creation and just really nice quality video gaming. And yeah, man, the PS3 was such a hard system to emulate for a lot of people's PCs and stuff. You got to really have some top of the line stuff. So I just wanted to make sure I had that. I don't know if I really mentioned it too much, but I had already had the 3DS. Certain somebody hooked me up with the 3DS, even though I play I play certain games through emulation on my phone, which were DS games. But hey, as long as I have the ways to get it, like I don't want to be like I don't have a way to play certain things. I'm like really big on it right now because life is too short, man. Play it all, have fun with it. We are on the cusp of a whole lot of things that I'm not gonna mention, but y'all already know if y'all been watching the real world. So play your games right now while you got a chance to, man. Um, and yeah, is this episode gonna be short? I don't know. It might not be short. Hope because we ain't got nothing else. We got one more thing that I wanted to mention that's literally old, but I just wanted to mention this because I never heard nobody talk about this. This was Last of Us Part Two. I didn't never hear too many people talk about this one point, and I thought maybe I could put it in here since we don't got too much info on it or
All right.
info on this week's topics. But if anybody remembers, right before it was leaked, it got delayed like indefinitely, and it was delayed indefinitely for probably a week.
Oh,
And I think maybe some people, because I kind of thought this myself, was like maybe they were trying to make it an excuse to push the date back to come out with the game systems and maybe a PS5 version. But next thing you know, everything was leaked. The story was leaked. It was such a huge debacle. There were people mad, people snapping their discs when they did get it, and all of that. But it was like for a week, it was delayed indefinitely. Like you could probably look up articles on that, like, oh, it's announced that it's delayed. It's like in my head, I was just wondering, like, why was that? Why was it delayed indefinitely? Like, do you think they might have thought we might be doing something really bad here, and they might have thought about changing the full story or changing just something, you know?
indefinite delay, I think, is that to change. Like they were considering, like maybe we redo some stuff, and then just last like again change their mind. I was like, nah, we worked hard on this. Let's just put it out. Or maybe it was delayed in hopes that people would forget.
Yeah, because not only that, I think like I remember the trailer was misleading to people because in the trailer, it's kind of spoilers. One of the main characters from the first game, Joel, was shown in a certain way in the trailer, where in the game he wasn't shown that way. Like he was like it was alluding that you were going to get a chance to play as him.
Uh huh.
Where in the game, one of the biggest things that people was mad about was that you never actually got a chance to really play as him the way you played in the first game. And he was
Uh-huh.
the character in the first game. Ellie was like the secondary character, right? Like Jack and Dexter almost. Like and
Uh-huh.
so
Oh, also, by the way, it came out in 2020. That was 2 years ago. Spoilers
yeah.
are fine.
Yeah, I guess
You got 6 months.
6 months. I'll
You
be
get
waiting though. Like you
post.
know
Yeah,
me,
no,
man. I
wait.
wait for themselves. I be waiting.
I feel like it's fair game for a spoiler warning to be said for up to 6 months. After 6 months, it's on you. Keep figuring out how to avoid spoilers. It's not on the other people.
Okay. Well, I don't feel like I need to mention anything else. I was just wondering if anybody thought that they at an instant was probably like, you know what? This is going to ruin this. Like I don't know. Because more people like it now because of the gameplay. Everybody still praises the gameplay.
Uh huh.
Not too many people praise the story. Like, and that was the one thing that it was lacking. And I remember it was such a big debacle over it, the work behind it, the crunch culture, and all of that. And maybe they probably was like, okay, we don't want nobody thinking that we're crunching anybody, so we could just delay it. I don't know because
That
when
could
it
be.
came, It was just one thing because I remember they said that, but then when it came out, it wasn't a buggy, broken mess like a lot of other games. It had some bugs, but it wasn't a mess. It looked like it was ready to go. It was like, what would have made them delay it there? Because it
Huh.
wasn't. Because remember, they announced the indefinite delay a month before its initial release. I don't know if anybody remember that. It was like a month before when it was supposed to be released, and then it leaked, and then they were just like, okay, we're going to just go ahead with that same release date. And then it just kind of came out, and people were still mad about it and stuff. But it was just for a second, it had an indefinite delay on it. I was just wondering, like, what was that reason? That was just
Oh,
my thought process. Yeah, we'll never have the answer for it. Neil Druckmann would never tell us.
nah, not at all.
But we did see the trailer for the TV show a couple weeks back. Um, I'm not too excited for the show. I just want to see the bloater. I just want to see the
Yeah.
clicker and the bloater, and I want to see how they interact with it. So I'm still gonna watch, but I really just want to watch up to that point. If I like it, then I'll keep going. But really, really just want to see how they do the bloater fight. That's the main thing. But yeah, this is all old news, blast from the past. I just wanted to go there because I thought about that before the channel was even made. I was just like why did they indefinitely delay it and then put it right back out as soon as it leaked? And then when it came out, it was polished. And that was the thing. I was just like, well, what were you delaying it for? So yeah, that's all I could say on that, I guess. There, before I move on to the next topic, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the game systems. I want to shout out a company called Voyee. I think I said that right. That's Voyee. They do controllers on systems, older systems. I think they do new systems as well. But if you look on Amazon, you can get a Voyee Xbox 360 or PS3 controller. If you are a retro gamer and you're looking to get more controllers, you don't want to buy a bunch of used stuff, or you don't want to pay maybe a premium price at a mom and pop store, because I know they be charging them the mom and pop stores.
Yeah.
Um, the mom and pop store where I got the Xbox 360, they was charging like $30 or $40 for a Xbox 360 controller, and it was like a wired one.
Wow.
And I was looking at it like, why? And I'm like, that's because it's new. Like, it was a new third party one, but you really can't get it nowhere except for mom and pop stores, unless you go off of, Amazon or eBay. Well, Voyee has very good quality controllers, and it looks like almost spot on with a regular 360 controller and the PS3 one, and they were like $13, like 13 $14 each, and they were wireless.
Not too bad.
They very responsive. It didn't feel cheap. It didn't feel like a knockoff. It was like very good quality stuff. So if you're somebody who's into retro, not sponsored by them either. I don't even know nothing about the company. All I know is that on Amazon they got a very high rating, and it was very cheap. And I was like, all right, that's enough for me. And yeah, they're worth it. They are worth it. They got a bunch of different colors too. I got a gold one for the PS3, and then I got a classic looking like beige one for the 360. And
Okay.
so yeah, those are good. This might actually still be a mini episode because I didn't have too much left. I want to talk about Power Rangers, but was there anything else you wanted to mention before I get into that? Because I think that might be
Uh,
my last bigger topic.
no, I'm all good.
All right,
Let's hear
so
about.
it's Power Rangers and Transformers that I'm going to be talking about. And it's really just on the action figure side, or like Megazord side, if you're a fan of that. I just wanted to mention real quick. I'll start with Transformers and then I'll go into Power Rangers. So Transformers, in case anybody was not aware, if you were someone who was a fan of Transformers, the original, not original, but the movies, the first two, three movies, right? Transformers, Fall, the Revenge of the Fallen, I think is what it was called. Like
Uh-huh.
that one, and then I think that's the main one here because that I'm referencing. But basically, I was a big fan of how Optimus Prime looked,
Dark
just
of the Moon.
as a figure. Yeah, it wasn't Dark of the Moon was the third one, but I don't know if the third one really counts for what I'm talking about. But
Okay.
definitely Revenge of the Fallen because if you remember, I know you will remember, I really wanted those Transformer toys. Like I really wanted Optimus, and then I really wanted a Bumblebee, right? So fast forward like years later, I actually was able to get the re-release through Hasbro, and they were like made cheaper, and they scaled them down a little bit. They weren't as big and bulky and Megazord size as like the original ones, but I believe you were able to get both Optimus Prime and like a Jetfire like for like $40 each or something like that. I think that's what it was. But the Optimus Prime one was like really good because it came with its trailer, right? And the trailer had the ability to turn into that big circle thing from the third movie that hold all his weapons. You remember
Ah,
that?
yep.
And then on top of that, within the trailer, it had his jetpack that he had also in Dark of the Moon later on in the movie. Like Jetpack Optimus Prime. That was movie 3. And I was obsessed with that. Like it was it was crazy back then. But they made that re-release I think 2 years ago. It definitely was before the lockdowns and stuff. So probably 3 years ago, right? And so you were able to get the Optimus for 50 and then I think the Jetfire for 40. And if you got them both, then you'd have the ability to have Optimus in his big like transformation forms from both films, right? And it was really cheap. It wasn't as expensive. I mean, maybe that's expensive to some people, $40 and $50, but apparently, they made only a certain amount. Not everybody had got onto it at a certain time, and then when they sold out, they were just kind of sold out. And so it's actually being re-released now. So if anybody
Oh,
missed out on it then, they can get it now. So it's being re-released. It's the same line, but they're putting it into a new box. So you can get that smaller one, and you can do all the transformations, whether it's the Dark of the Moon transformation where he has his jetpack, or the Jetfire Optimus Prime from Revenge of the Falling, if you have all of them. Here's the kicker though. You ready for this? I believe it's going to be $80 each. So they gonna tax you. So
yeah.
so it's gonna be you're gonna pay like 160 if you get both pieces. I don't think it might be worth it for that kind of price. But if you never had access, this might be your only chance. If you were somebody out there that was really into it, maybe at least you might want to get the Optimus one because at least it still comes with the trailer, and you can still do the full Dark of the Moon gimmick with it because you can still have all his other weapons. His the trailer turns into that big circle thing that has all the weapons, and then it also has the jetpack at the bottom of it. So you can still do that, but yeah, it's not $40 each or 40 and 50. It's like you're gonna pay 80 each for them. So that's the thing. And then apparently on this third party site that is called TF Force, I think it's called, or TF something. They're doing the full sized versions that came out back in like 2008 when these movies and stuff came out. So if you didn't want the scaled down versions, you can get the bigger ones that came out back then. I was so poor back then, I couldn't get none of it. I wanted it all. But you can get those versions now too. I think this is also up for pre-order. I think it's called TF Force. Let me look. I thought I wrote it down. Yeah, TF Source. I'm sorry. tfsource.com is where you can get that. And that's also where you can get these other Megazords too that I'm going to talk about in a second. But that particular bad boy comes with Jetfire and Optimus Prime. So you get it in one package. However, for the bigger regular size one, they want $299.99 for that bad boy. So that bad boy is $300 if y'all want it. So they taxing. And yeah, I would not be getting it. I think I'm past my prime on that. The mini ones that I got before, I'm very satisfied with them. Yeah, what you think about this, man? You think you gonna scoop this up? $300?
That is way too much. That cost way too much. Nah, we good.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention it used to be a big deal for me back in the past, but on the same website, we've mentioned this at the end of the podcast for like 2-3 episodes in a row at one point. There was still the Megazord that was a lot more anime looking that cost like $450, right? And I remember doing a lot of research on it. What'd you say?
That was 100. I'd get the anime looking one.
Yeah, so that one's $450. And we always said that kind of price was a little ridiculous. I mean, if you really got expendable cash, then maybe, but it's just kind of like, it's too much. Like, even the regular Hasbro one that just came out that was called the Zord Ascension Project, that one's kind of too much in a way to me. They just announced the Space Zord that you can get off the website and pre-order. That one's $165.99. I think that one's a little too much too, because it's like it's just the space one. He don't technically do anything or transform to nothing. He technically could transform to that. I think it was the Astro Megazord, but they didn't even announce it yet, so you don't even know. But yeah, I don't know if it was called Flames or Flame Studio or something, but they were the ones that did the $450 one. I don't know if they got some sort of kickback or like pushback from the fans, maybe the super hardcore that might actually reach out to them. I don't know if they harassed them or anything, like how people was harassing the God of War developers at one point. Like, I don't know what happened, but all I know is they decided that if you don't want the $450 one and you think that's too much and you keep comparing it to the price of the Hasbro version that's $160, somebody said, we got you. We got a solution for you. And then they decided to release or also put up for pre-order. It's going to come out at the same time as the other one that's $450. They decided to just come out with another regular Dino Megazord. And this one looks a little bit more like it's accurate, but you can still tell that they took some liberties here and there to make it look different. Because he kind of looked more beefier in the chest and stuff, and like he looked thicker. But they made another one, and this one is going to cost $110. So they brought the price all the way down to what the other ones was. They kind of undercut the Hasbro one a little bit. And it's just like, nobody really asked them for that. They probably was asking them to just lower the price of the other one. And maybe this might go to the full 2 hours, but I'm just like kind of confused because when I looked up the dimensions, when I looked up the size and everything, the weight, it's literally on par with the $450 one. It's just the $450 one looks more anime, where this one looks slightly more screen accurate. It's still kind of off a little bit, especially when you look at the Mastodon head. As we talk about, I don't know. You still got the picture, or you remember? Like, I should have like gave it to you before we. The newest one that I showed you like earlier in the week, like.
Yeah. Where it had like the Mastodon head as like a shield.
Yeah. It was just like they kind of just made another one, and I don't know if they have if they really get money or something where they able to just cook something up quick, or I don't know. It was just like it came out of nowhere. It was like you guys already. It's coming from the same studio. It's like you already have one that you're going to have, that's coming out that date. So why did you make another one that's like basically the same size?
Money, just extra money.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that one's the one that's $100. But I'm like, why don't you just lower the price of the other one? That's the way I'm looking at it. It's like, why did you just lower the price of the other one? Why did you make a whole nother one? I just don't, I don't know. Because you already know, like, the people who already bought like 6 of them, they ain't going to be able to help them. So they're going to have to do another one. They're going to do it. That one, so I'm just confused on it. I'm still a hardcore Power Ranger fan. Don't get it twisted, but I don't think I'm going to get that either, even though that they did bring the price down. It's like I didn't even, it hasn't even been a couple months yet. It's been like maybe at most 2 months now since I had the other one, the Zord Ascension Project. Right? It's like, okay, why would I buy another one of the exact same thing though? For the Power Ranger fans, when you think about it, it's like, yo, you just got this one, and they announced it 2 months after that one came out. That's almost on some like Call of Duty Pokemon kind of thing. Like, yeah. It's like just buy the same Megazord over and over again every year. I don't know. So I'm just like, here's the thing: at $110, if it was the Thunder Zord, I probably would have paid like pre-order. If it was the Shogun one, maybe even the Ninja one, and they changed like the look of it slightly, it's like maybe I would have pre-ordered one. But it was like the original Dino Megazord again, and you just had one, like the fans just had one already released. And then you as a company
banking on that money. That everybody wants the MMPR. That's it. They want that Dino. Now for some reason, people just want that over and over and over again.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I just don't get it. What's your take on that? Like, just making another one, maybe instead of like lowering the price, but they're like almost identical in size and weight.
Like, I just want them to make new stuff. I don't understand why they just keep kind of re-releasing the same thing over and over again, and it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's like I'd like to see new stuff, but at the same time, a good chunk of the fan base, all they want is that original one over and over and over again. So
it is iconic. I'm right there with everybody that it's definitely an iconic Megazord. It's like it's the Megazord.
I think Steve, it's been years and like you can't get it, so now they're releasing it again. But to just keep it's the same reason of like when they were releasing the figures, and it felt like every single year a Green Ranger Tommy.
It was a Tommy, yeah.
Like, or a White Ranger Tommy. It was always just a Tommy over and over again. I don't know why, but
yeah. So it's not just a regular figure; it will be fully transformable. So you could take it, you could strip it all the way down to, the Mastodon, T-Rex, Pterodactyl, Triceratops, Saber-tooth tiger. You could do all of that, but
Triceratops tiger.
I just thought it was just strange because I was just like, it literally just popped up. It came out of nowhere. The Ranger group people was all promoting it, and I'm just like, yo, y'all just got done with the Ascension project. Like,
to me, this is no different than video games releasing a remaster when the other one was just out like not too long ago. Like,
yeah, that's got some like PlayStation Director's Cut vibes to it.
Yeah,
because clearly Hasbro and Flames under like they have like some sort of agreement because Hasbro still owns the trademark or whatever right now. Like so it's strange because it's literally the same company. So it's like you could have lowered the price of the one with the dragon wings and stuff, you know, and the super long tail. He's holding it like the cannons like they're guns, and it's like really cool and posable. The next thing you know, it's just like bam, here's this blocky one. It's like
Yep.
really bulky. That's the one that's $100. But I'm like, you still gotta go through the process of like the manufacturing and for the people who are gonna get it. It's like
There's probably some people who just like, I'm gonna make sure to collect every single version, and they're counting those people to have to keep buying more and more and more.
at some
Uh,
point though, ain't it still gonna simplify down because we only getting older and you only got so much money. I don't think everybody gonna be able to collect. I
no,
don't
not
know.
everybody. They're just harping on the really, really hardcore collectors. I think.
I guess. But you know what, man? That's the end of it. We at the very end. Hit the like button. I don't want to end this until it shows me beating this boss. I think this is where I actually beat him. Because if
This
you
is
notice,
your
I've
time.
been on this boss this whole time. But
Yeah,
if you look at the health meter of the boss and me, and you see the focus, I finally beat him at some point. So yeah, that would be the end of the footage. But yeah, man, I was just
oh,
like 110.
that's crazy. I know what I can talk about while we finish for this footage to finish up.
Yeah, we got
We're
four
gonna have the
minutes.
second game recommendation that you had already recommended. That's the
Okay.
game you. I've been having some like time at work where I got like some like like 45 minutes to an hour gap before I have to do stuff
Yeah.
because I've been right on top of my game. So like getting things done in advance. So like I just got time to chill for a little bit. So I decided to start playing Hue. Um, and it's been good. Like I like it's a puzzle. The story seems very like dramatic. I want to know like what happened and
Yeah.
everything as I go through it. And it's a nice puzzle platformer. Look at you, man.
Hey, I got him. Hey, we did it.
I see you
Yes.
nodding like yes, like I
We
did
did
it.
it, man. We
Yeah,
did
but
it.
yeah, if you haven't checked out the game Hue, check it out. It's a very fun puzzle game.
Yeah, yeah. You say you was playing it at work. I would say, make sure you probably couldn't at work play the music, but you gotta hear the music when you play it. Like
Oh,
it's
I played
just
the
you
I
play the
figured
music.
out.
Yeah, it's very good music.
Yeah.
Very, very good music. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. You guys got to see me finally beat the boss on camera, so the episode was right. We didn't cue the footage, and we made it almost to 2 hours again. So hit the like button. Somehow we could do this. We could still do this with no topics. So hit the like button, man. We are rocking. We are rocking. And episode 23 is gonna be just as good. I promise you. Other than that, any last words before we end this off?
Don't forget to hydrate.
Yes, and don't forget to wash the back of your ears. And we are done. Peace.